Blog Talk Radio.
Hey there, Detroit sports fanatics. I'm Taylor Phillips, and welcome to this special time 11 p.m. edition of Taylor's Detroit Sports Show on Blog Talk Radio. Tonight we're going to talk Tigers as always. Tigers take 2 out of 3 from the Tampa Bay Rays when they should have swept them. Then the Minnesota Twins welcome them and then unpleasantly and by routing them in the first 2 games. First one being 20-6 Friday night, and then Saturday afternoon in Game 1 of the doubleheader. Yikes! 12-4. Tigers struck back with an 8-6 win Saturday in Saturday's doubleheader nightcap, Game 2 of that doubleheader, and then the Tigers routed the Twins back 13-4. Today, Victor Martinez and Torrey Hunter each cashed in with 4 RBIs. Victor Martinez hit a 2-run home run to help spread the margin. That made it 7-3 in the 5th inning. They have tomorrow off, and then they start a very short homestand with a 3-game series at Comerica Park against the New York Yankees, welcoming Derek Jeter to Comerica Park for the very last time in his career, his all-Yankee career. Then they head to Chicago for a 3-game series against the White Sox at U.S. Cellular Field. There we go. The White Sox are another team that has been struggling this year. They struggled the other previous 2 years. As you see, I got a new phone 2 Fridays ago. I already mentioned that, so you can forget that now. I do have some positive injury updates on the Tigers. A couple of them on Anibal Sanchez and Joaquim Soria. First, Tigers are 2 games back of the Royals, who lost 3-1 to the Rangers. 2 games back in the American League Central Division. The Indians won 3-1 in Houston. They're 6 games back. The Tigers are still 1 game flat back of the Mariners, who won earlier today 8-6 in Boston. the Mariners take on the Texas Rangers back at home in Seattle at 10:10 Eastern Time, and the Royals take on the Yankees. The Yankees take on the Tigers at 6:05. The standings on MLB, some part of the standings on MLB.com doesn't look right. One part of it tells me the Yankees play at Kansas City on Tuesday at 7:10. That sounds so stupid, because the Yankees play the Tigers next, not the Royals. This is ridiculous. Who do the Royals play next? Come on. I'm going to find out right now. Oh yeah, that's right. The Royals play in New York in a makeup game at Yankee Stadium at 6:10 p.m. Eastern Time. Wait, that's 6:10 p.m. Central Time, my bad. 7:10 Eastern Time. Before the Yankees head to Comerica Park and play the Tigers in a 3-game series. The Tigers have tomorrow off, so they should be well rested, unlike the Yankees, who are 3.5 back of the second wild card spot behind the Seattle Mariners. Then the Royals host the Minnesota Twins in a 3-game series. That'll be an easy one for the Royals to play in, although the Twins played pretty scrappy and resilient against most teams like the Tigers. I have to admit that too. But now I'm going to report the injuries that are soon coming to an end. Starting pitcher Anibal Sanchez of the Tigers might return to the rotation this upcoming Saturday in Chicago against the White Sox. Says here there's still work to do and hurdles to cross, but Detroit Tigers manager Brad Ausmus, Chris Hyatt writing on MLive.com, is hopeful right-hander Anibal Sanchez will be ready to return to the starting rotation next weekend in Chicago. Sanchez threw yesterday and will throw again tomorrow in Detroit during the team's off day. If things go well Monday, Sanchez will throw off a mound Wednesday. But he won't be the starting pitcher on Wednesday. Because David Price has already been projected to be Wednesday's starter for Detroit. The Tigers will determine his status at that point, but Ausmus said he could not rule out the possibility that Sanchez could start Saturday during a doubleheader against the Chicago White Sox. The rotation is cleared up a bit after Justin Verlander threw more than 100 pitches Saturday night in an 8-6 win over the Minnesota Twins in Game 2 of the doubleheader after missing his previous turn in the rotation with shoulder soreness. Here's the rotation moving forward. Tuesday, actually, not tomorrow, they have off. Tuesday, Rick Porcello. Wednesday, David Price, as I just mentioned. Thursday, to be determined. Friday, Justin Verlander, as they head in Chicago. Saturday, Game 1, Max Scherzer. Game 2, to be determined. And then Sunday, Rick Porcello. The TBD to be determined for Thursday will almost certainly turn into Kyle Lobstein's first career start. Lobstein made his Major League debut Saturday in the first game of a doubleheader against the Twins, and he glowed, man. The TBD for Saturday, not Sunday, Chris Ayat, Saturday, will either be Sanchez or a call-up from the minor leagues. The most likely candidates for that spot would be Robbie Ray or Buck Farmer, who were both rocked in starts this weekend against the Twins. And Robbie Ray and Buck Farmer are definitely bad signs after getting shelled by Minnesota this past weekend, Friday night and Saturday afternoon, in the first of a doubleheader. And you don't want Robbie Ray or Buck Farmer on your team ever. You want another starting pitcher that has done better in the minors besides Kyle Lobstein. But more importantly than that, you want Anibal Sanchez to start Saturday, but first you got to hope to God that all goes well and his injury is gone for good. By the way, you can add me on Facebook, Taylor Phillips. Add me on Google and Pinterest and YouTube, which I'm simulcasting on. And you can also follow me on Twitter and Tumblr at DT2Phillips. Miguel Cabrera did not play today because of his ankle injury flaring up. Brad Ausmus decided to give Miggy a rest, and Miggy was available but did not need to pinch hit because the Tigers routed the Twins 13-4. Earlier today. So no Miguel Cabrera, no problem. Just for that day. Cabrera is still trying to shake off his off-season core muscle surgery, just like Justin Verlander's trying to do. Speaking of which, Joakim Soria, their relief pitcher, has trended upward while working his way back from his oblique injury. He is on the mend, writes Chris Ayat, but when he will return to play for the Tigers remains unclear. Soria threw Saturday and was slated to throw again Sunday, yesterday and today, according to manager Brad Ausmus, who was encouraged by the progress that Soria is making. Ausmus quoted, quote, Soria felt a lot better yesterday than he had felt previously in Tampa when he threw. In the last 3 days, he's trended upward quite a bit. Unquote. Soria has been on the disabled list since August 10th due to his left oblique strain. He's eligible to come off the disabled list in time for the team's series opener Tuesday at Comerica Park against the New York Yankees, 7:08 first pitch time. But it's unclear when he'll return. Ausmus was asked what the next step will be for Soria if his throwing session Sunday went well. He says he has no answer. So that's it. But speaking of Kyle Lobstein, he's the best. Chris Hyatt says Lobstein was still a lackluster option to make a spot start on Thursday. But what Chris Hyatt doesn't know right there sure will not hurt him, because Kyle Lobstein did not pitch lackluster-like until that 7th inning in Game 1 of that doubleheader in Minnesota against the Twins. He threw 100 pitches in 5 2/3 innings, most of which were solid. He and Patrick McCoy arrived late because of flight mechanical issues after scheduling their flight at 9:30 a.m. They arrived at 11:35 Central Time, 12:35 Eastern Time, just 35 minutes before first pitch. And they thought they had time. They thought they had more time. But they got lost. The driver from the airport got lost and circled Target Field a few times before he and McCoy got out and navigated their way into the stadium through a gate fans used to get into the ballpark. You know, maybe the airport driver should be fired for making them late overall, because we got to make sure that never happens again. But anyway, Lobstein pitched well in his major league debut despite the circumstances. After intentionally walking Joe Mauer, he recorded the last 2 outs of the second inning, allowing just one inherited runner to score. The 7th inning, he sort of ran out of gas, allowing a bases-loaded walk, and allowed 3 earned runs total, I think. And Lobstein will make the 10th starting pitcher this season for the Detroit Tigers. And Chris Hyatt wrote that, and I agree with him on that. So Sanchez is feeling well. Kyle Lobstein should still pitch Thursday, but Sanchez should pitch Saturday and I think all should go well before then. But those injuries can no longer be the excuse, because everybody else has to step up, and the Tigers are faltering in the standings, as you can see already. And it's getting near crunch time. Also, time is running out on the waiver trade deadline. We've got about a week for Dave Dombrowski to make some moves, especially in the Tigers bullpen. They also need a center fielder to replace Austin Jackson. Make sure it's good or great enough, please. Plus, we need a shortstop, a starting shortstop, that is. Take Asdrubal Cabrera from the Cleveland Indians, for example. I like Suarez and Romine. They're okay, but they're just not good enough to make a World Series championship, make a World Series shortstop. Neither of them can yet. They're both young and somewhat inferior, but they've shown progress. Romine's had a bit of a hot bat lately. Suarez had already struggled until recently. They both still have a long way to go. Oh, by the way, I'm seeing a lot less Kate Upton basters for Justin Verlander's performance in Game 2 of the doubleheader Saturday night, and that's good. Only a couple of them that I found still mentioning Kate Upton, which I don't want to hear. They still have to learn a lesson or two, but other than that, everybody else has been fine. One other thing, though, is that Toledo Mudhens AAA affiliate catcher James McCann should have been called up 2 or 3 months ago. Jeff Moss of the Detroit Sports Rag has repeatedly shown us his stats and compared them to Alex Avila's awful stats, especially against left-handed pitchers overall, starting and relief. And Brian Holiday has been doing worse overall. And even I myself contacted the Detroit Tigers by email on their website that all the fans have been waiting for too long for James McCann to be called up by General Manager Dave Dombrowski, and they answered back and said we are working on making the best roster. They said we are, quote, your advice and input is very much appreciated. We are currently working to assemble the best possible roster. I don't know what that means. I sort of know what that means, but yeah, I guess that relates to James McCann. Let me see here. there's an article on NLive.com on here. Real quick, before I sign off, time's wasting here, less than 5 minutes to go. Come on, hurry up. Where the heck is that? Well, there's one article. Dave Dombrowski is not expecting the Tigers to add a bat in a trade. Our guys have to hit better. I actually cannot find that one article about James McCann and Stephen Moya being possibly being called up on September 1st. It was on NLive.com somewhere. I'll have to post that on Facebook soon. And I'll have to post the Our Guys Have to Hit Better article on Twitter and Facebook after I sign off. So that's pretty much going to do it for... Sorry about the confusion, guys.
What's your problem there, pal? Can't a guy get a bit of sleep? Don't bug me.
Yeah, I know how you feel. But James McCann overall has done great. The statistics will show you during that article. I will try to find it somewhere on NLive.com. Again, I sincerely apologize. And I will talk to you next week about it, and back on Spreaker Tuesday night, right after my CMU classes start this fall semester. So until then, this is Taylor Phillips saying TTFN, ta-ta for now.
90 seconds.